to be with you again. As I said last time, I have so many wonderful memories of being with the people at Derbyshire. And I hope you know that our family's time together at Derbyshire was one of the great highlights of our time in church. When I served as your interim pastor, what a tremendous privilege that was. And that always gives me a sense of Derbyshire being one of those churches that I still think of as a home church. Last week, I talked about the deacons and the ministry of initiative, how important it was that as servant leaders, we understand that we have to take initiative toward people. That doesn't mean that we're bothering people every other day to see if they have a concern, but it often means that we know the people who are in our deacon families, and we know the ones that sometimes are reluctant to let anybody know that they have a concern or a problem. Or by their silence, we know that they have something that they probably need to share with someone. If somebody's not at church, who ordinarily is at church every Sunday for 3 or 4 weeks, you and I know probably something may be going on. We need to give a call, and we need to let them know that we care. So today I want to talk about the ministry of presence. The word present became a very important word to me when I was in 4th grade. Miss Taylor was one of those kinds of teachers who never took anything off anybody. So the first day of class, she said, I'm going to call the roll for the first several weeks. And each time I call your name, I want you to say, here. We had a student in the class, his name was Tommy. Tommy was one of those kinds of people who liked to draw attention to himself, even in inappropriate ways. So when Tommy's name was called, after everybody else had said here, Tommy said present. Immediately, Miss Taylor sent him to the dean's office. Second day, Tommy present. Tommy was on his way again to the principal's office. Third day, Tommy present. And you can imagine another trip to the principal's office. Finally, some of us who knew Tommy said, Tommy, just say here. You've got to pass 4th grade in order to get to 5th grade, and you're not going to make it with this kind of behavior. Well, maybe Tommy listened to us, or maybe Tommy was tired of going to the principal's office. So on the 4th day, Tommy's name was called, and Tommy said, here. But I remember the word present that he used. And even though it was not the appropriate thing to say in Miss Taylor's class, that word has stuck with me. What does it mean to be present to somebody? What does it mean for you and for me to be open to somebody else's need? One of the things that it means is that you and I learn to listen carefully. We've all been in situations where we've tried to say something important to somebody, and that person seemed to be preoccupied, or maybe looking over our shoulder at who was next in line. We were trying to tell that person something we wanted that person to hear. But we knew that person wasn't listening. Listening is the quality of understanding that anything somebody has to say is important to that person. It may not seem important to you and me, but it is important to that person, even if it is a way of just their talking, being able to talk to somebody who is listening to them, not only with ears, but also with eyes and with face and with presence. I would say, in addition to listening, remembering what somebody has to say to us. When we see the person the next time and the person has told us about somebody who is sick in their family, and we forget to ask, asking about something that somebody has said to us in a previous conversation is a powerful way for them to understand that that person is important to us and we are paying attention, we are present to that person. Being present demands something of those of us who are servant leaders. We can't stand back in the shadows and simply wait for things to happen and find out when it's too late. I would suggest that each of us who is a minister, a clergy, or a deacon, that we have a way of keeping track of people so that nobody ever says in the church, I had a real problem and there was nobody to whom I could go. Nobody who was present to me.